Your workouts are trash. They're keeping you skinny fat. Your workouts are trash. They're keeping you skinny fat because you're doing the wrong things in the gym. There are four main principles behind a good strength training program: frequency, intensity, time, and type. So I'm going to break these down so that you can finally get a good strength training program that's actually going to help you fix that skinny fat physique that you've been struggling with, because I know you've been consistent with training, you have a pretty good diet, but if you're not doing the right things in the gym, all of that is kind of a waste of time because you're not actually going to have the physique that you want. Now, I used to be skinny fat myself. In fact, I used to be fat. I weighed 250 pounds. I weigh 170 pounds this morning. And I've been able to keep off this weight for years and years and years because I follow these principles that I outline in these videos. Not only when it comes to nutrition, but when it comes to training. I've been consistent with going to the gym for over 10 years. And even though I don't have the most impressive physique in the world, I've been able to get in really good shape for me. And that's what's most important. And staying consistent has been the most important piece of the puzzle. So frequency, let's talk about that. When it comes to frequency, you want to pick something that you could see yourself doing for the rest of your life. So if that is 5 times a week, that's awesome. If it's 4 times a week, that's awesome. But most people, it's going to land around 3 times per week. And if you want, by the way, if you want a simple 3-day per week training program, I'm going to leave a training program down in the description. You guys can pick up 100% for free. Now, when it comes to the frequency, if you're picking a 3-day per week program, I like something like either a 3-day full body workout or a push-pull legs. I've experimented with both throughout the past 10 years, and I really like the full body 3 days because you don't have a specific leg day. It's just leg days. Every day you go, you do something for your legs. So even though like you don't have that specific leg day, it's not as daunting mentally. I don't love leg days, so for me, I have to really work myself up mentally to go to leg day. So it's easier for me to just do a full body 3 times a week, if that makes sense. But there have been plenty of times in my lifting career, I said that like I'm a career lifter, that I have gone to the gym and done a push-pull legs. It's a great split, and that is the split that'll be the free one that I give to you guys. Now, intensity is where things get really important because we use something called RPE, or rate of perceived exertion. And what that is like basically how hard was that set? From 1 to 10, how hard was that set of dumbbell bench presses that you did? If it was like a 5, then you're not working hard enough. Now, if it was like a 7 or an 8 or even a 9, that's perfect. That's where we want you to be. You need to be making sure that you're bringing that intensity up. That is where muscle growth happens. That is where the change to your body happens the most. So if you do a set and I put a gun to your head and I say, hey, get as many reps as you can until failure, I guarantee that you could probably do another 5, 10, 15, or even 20 reps if somebody had a gun to your head. So I want you to think of it in terms of that. Your last reps should be slowing down because you are struggling to get them up. If you're not, then you're probably not going intense enough with your sets, and you need to bring up that intensity if you really want to grow muscle tissue and you want to change the look and shape of your body. You want to get rid of that skinny fat look. This is probably the most important piece of the puzzle. You can have the best program in the world, but if you're not actually working hard in those individual sets and the weight is not slowing down and you're not coming to that point of almost failure, then you're not working hard enough. So that's intensity. Your intensity should be like probably a 7 or an 8. And for most people, they should be trying to get a 9 or a 10 and even taking some sets to failure just to see what it feels like. Now, you shouldn't take every set to failure because it's hard to recover from. I'll get into that in another video. But I think that most people don't train nearly hard enough, and that's why they're not seeing the change that they want to see in their body. Let's talk about time. A lot of people will say if you're not in the gym for at least an hour, it's a waste of a workout. It's not an effective workout. That's bullshit. I have gone to the gym and done a 30-minute workout. That was one of the best workouts ever. I've gone to the gym and done an hour and a half long workout that sucked. So it just depends. It just depends on your program. It depends on how much time you have to train, your commute times, and all of that. So we want to make sure that the training program that you follow accounts for how much time you actually have to dedicate to this. If it's only 30 to 45 minutes, that's great. You know, your personal trainer, your coach, or you, if you're writing your programs, should be able to account for writing you a shorter program that still has good intensity. Let's talk about type, okay? Because the type of exercises that you do will be very, very important. If you have a goal of getting rid of that skinny fat look, then you want to be going for what's called muscle hypertrophy. Now, what this means is that you want to be growing and building your muscles, and how you're going to do that is by picking rep ranges in that 6 to 12 zone and picking a lot of stable exercises. What do I mean by that? A barbell bench press is not as stable as a dumbbell bench press or even a machine-seated chest press. Now, if your back and chest are supported on something, you're going to be more stable. If they're not, you're going to be less stable and you're not going to be able to move as much weight. So therefore, you're not going to be able to go at a high enough intensity to build the muscle that you want. A lot of times people go to the gym and they're barbell back squatting instead of doing something like a leg press or maybe even like a safety belt squat, something like that. Okay, so you want to be targeting specific muscle groups instead of doing these huge compound exercises. Compound exercises are super important, but when it comes to building muscle, there's a lot of technique that is required for you to safely do these exercises without hurting yourself or without engaging the wrong muscle groups or further facilitating bad posture or techniques. So it's best to use stable exercises when you're first starting out, unless you're working with a professional, with a trainer or a coach who can guide you along with your form and technique, because honestly, that's probably going to be the best option for you, is just to hire somebody to do it with you at first, so that way you get the right technique and form at first, and then you're not building bad habits down the road. Okay, so we've got stability. Now, when you're doing this type of training, it's important that you have rest times. You want to be resting somewhere around 2 to 3 minutes in between your sets. If you're not resting long enough, you will not be building muscle and you won't be building strength. And that's super important if you want to change that skinny fat look. Now, nutrition obviously plays a huge role in how all this works. But if you are struggling with your nutrition, if you're struggling with your training, just know that I have my one-on-one coaching program down below if you guys need a little bit of extra help. I still got spots open. I don't know how much longer I'm going to have spots open, but if you want to get in shape for the summertime, definitely go check that out. Go apply. And I'll leave that free training program down below. And as always, guys, if you have any questions, you can always leave them down in the comments below. Do that like, comment, subscribing thing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.